Hey, I want to talk about when to quit, when to give up. There seems to be some discrepancy on the topic, and I've done a lot of thinking, and I've gathered contradicting viewpoints. And I want to put in some of my thoughts and insights and hopefully shed a little light, and I don't know if it'll help you or confuse you, but this is just what I think. Okay, so you hear on one side, aka Winston Churchill, never give up, never give up, never give up, right? And so many entrepreneurs say, whatever you do, don't quit. The only way you can fail is by quitting. I've said that myself, and I think that's still very true. You can't quit, right? But then on the opposite side, you also hear entrepreneurs, and I've heard this myself, is they've encouraged you to quit. Quit things that aren't working. If something's not working, do something different. Quit. Don't keep doing the same thing that doesn't work. Definition of insanity. You heard that, right? What is the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. Well, it's true. We gotta quit some things at certain points in our lives. You have to. If it's not working, or if it's broken, if it's a bad system, or you're going down the wrong road, you're wasting time if you don't quit and try something different. So there's a contradicting viewpoint between quitting and don't ever quit. Whatever you do, stay on the road, and it'll eventually lead you to success. So I struggled with that, and I also struggled with the yes/no thing. Okay, some entrepreneurs are like, this year I'm gonna say yes to everything. It's my goal that, the more I say yes to, the more goodness comes into my life. And they make the case that when you say yes, you're welcoming new opportunity, right? New horizons, new things that you wouldn't have known or seen before or been exposed to. And you always have to be exposing yourself to new ideas, new ways of thinking. And the way to do that is by saying yes. If an opportunity comes your way, just try it out, because you never know, right? Speaking of no, some other entrepreneurs are exactly the opposite. They say the following: my goal this year is to say no to more things, because the more I say no to, the more I can say yes to things that matter. In other words, my core or my focus or my passion, what I'm best at. Because you can't do everything. If you try and do everything, if you try and say yes to too many things, you get spread too thin, you become the jack of all trades and a king of nothing. And in today's world, that's very bad, because we live in a very specialized world. More and more, becoming specialized is the key. Becoming good at one thing, becoming known for one thing, and expounding. So I've talked about that as well. But some entrepreneurs say yes, you've got to say yes to everything. Other entrepreneurs are like, say no to everything except for what matters most. So I think that kind of has to do with what I was talking about a little bit earlier about when to quit, when not to quit, because that's kind of a yes or no thing as well. So I hear opposing viewpoints, both sides of those issues, and it can be very confusing. So if you're setting goals and you've wondered about this thing as well, here's my thoughts, okay? When you're cruising along a path that you have set for yourself, and you have a life plan in place, okay? If you don't, you should, but some semblance of a life plan written on paper. I use 3x5 cards. Whatever, if you use a diary or a journal or an app or whatever, just make sure it's written down. It's physically on a place of some sort where you can reference it, not just in your head. That's the key. Everybody, the one thing a lot of people agree on, most everyone, is write your goals down. So you have a written plan, and your goals are how you're going to, or your one main goal is the big thing that you're focusing on in your life. That's the thing that you can't quit on. So when someone says don't quit on your goals, what they mean is don't quit on that one main thing that you're trying to accomplish. Or it might be 2 or 3. Shouldn't be more than 3 at a time. But if you have that one thing that you're going for, and maybe, let's say, we'll just pick something. Let's say your one main goal in life, and I'm going to pick something a little bit more superfluous. Is that the right word? Superstitious? Anyways, The one main thing might be, I want to make $10,000 a month. That's my goal. One main goal. However you do that, you can do that a million different ways, right? You could do product licensing. You could manufacture and sell a product. You could start a business or a service and build it up to be $10,000 a month. You could go get a different job. Maybe you're working a job that only pays $60,000 or $80,000. You can start looking for one that pays $120,000, and then you can make up the difference with some side hustle of some sort, or if there is any number of ways you can slice and dice it. I want to make $10,000 a year or a month. How can you do that? Well, that's the thing you can't quit on. How you do that, you can quit on. Okay, so when some entrepreneurs give the advice, don't ever quit, they're talking about the big thing. They're not talking about the execution on how to get to the big thing. Does that make sense? So your life passion, your life goal, what you want to accomplish, that you should never quit on. If you're going down the road of, trying to get somewhere and it's just not working, then by all means, jump ship and do something different. Absolutely. If it's not working and you've tried, and in your gut, and you got to listen to your gut. There's no hard and fast rule. Nobody can tell you exactly when to stop doing something. Everything in life has an expiration date. Think about that. Nothing is forever here in this life. Even our lives have an expiration date. One day you will be dead. I hate to break the news, but it's true. I know, it's kind of brutal. I feel the same way. But we will, at one point, cease to exist here on the earth. And nobody knows what that date is, but everybody has a date. Floating somewhere, you've got a date. Everything you own has a date, right? The house you live in, you're not going to be there forever. It may be the same date as the day you die, but the pencil that you're using to write, it's at some point in your existence, you're going to give that up. You're going to say, this pencil has seen its days, it's done, and I'm now throwing it away. The paper you're writing on, at some point you're going to say, that's full enough, it's all done, and I'm not using it anymore. Or I'm going to turn the page. Or I'm going to cram one more thing in the corner because there's a little space up here, and then I'm all done and I'm going to turn the page after that. Anything, your furniture, your kids have an expiration date. At some point, they're going to move out of the house and they're going to be gone, and you'll move on. Life is a constant state of change. There is always something coming and always something going, and everything in our lives, everything in your life right now, has an expiration date. And in 10 years, almost everything might be different. Maybe almost nothing will be different. Maybe in 20 years, almost everything will be different. New silverware, new plates and cups, and new bedding, and new furniture, and new clothes that you're wearing, and new job, and new income, and new goals, and new everything. It all comes and goes, okay? That is normal. And we all make decisions based on, I guess, our chemistry and our DNA and our personalities. We all make decisions on what the lifespan is of that product or goal or habit that we're using. How long we're going to stick with it. Okay? At some point, like my wife, for example, she loves to rearrange rooms. She loves to go in about 6 months. She'll go in and she'll rearrange the kids' rooms with them, and she'll stack the bunk beds, or she'll pull them back down, or she'll move the dresser around. I come home from work and the room is totally different. No rhyme or reason. It's like, I just wanted to change it up. And so she works with the kids. She's really good about that. I love it. The kids get involved and they help decide, well, they don't have a lot of space. The rooms are fairly small, but let's put the dresser over here now. Let's put the beds over here. Gives them some change. Well, there's no planning that goes into that. It's not like she says, well, in July, I'm going to change out all the kids' bedrooms. She just kind of wakes up, and one morning she looks around and she goes, I think it's time. And she makes a decision. And then she goes to it. Well, in our goals and our execution to our goals, it can be very much the same thing. You can't be so rigid in the way that you plan and set your goals that you can't allow for change along the way. Of course you have to change. Of course you have to quit things. Of course you have to say no to things. Yes, absolutely you have to. And if you don't, a lot of times you'll stay stuck doing something that's just not going to work. So don't quit on your goal, your one main goal, or the main goals that you have in your life. It could be more than one. Don't quit on those. If they're worthy of being a goal, they should be worthy of not quitting on. Does that make sense? If on how you get to that goal, that can be something you can change out when your gut tells you this just isn't working, I've got to do something new. Well, you're still going to get to your goal, you're just going to choose a different avenue to arrive there. So that's my take on it. Quit, don't quit, yes, no, say all this seemingly contradictory and confusing advice out there. Yes, don't ever quit. Yes, you should quit. Both are true. It depends where you apply that advice and that counsel. Hopefully that's helpful. If you're setting goals, I give you permission to quit, but just quit intelligently, in the right places and in the right ways. It's actually very freeing to give up on things that aren't working, because they can bog you down, they can hold you back. And when you let them go, you give yourself permission to move on, and you free up space in your life and time in your day to focus on something else. And when that something else starts producing new results, that gives you a new encouragement, a new hope, a new energy that helps bring you along and create some momentum in your life. So yeah, if you're feeling stuck, there you go. Maybe that's the advice you've been needing. I don't know. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Chime in, please. Please subscribe, share. 3x5goals.com, 3x5goals.com. That's the system I use for setting my goals, and I love it. I've outlined it in detail. You can use 3x5 cards. I'm in pre-launch mode of my 3x5 cards that I've designed, and I'd love to have you weigh in. If you contact me right now, I'll give you a set for a month for free. Just register, hop on and register, put in your name and email, and I'll get in touch with you. And I'll mail you out. Just cover the cost of shipping for me, but I'll mail you out 30 days worth of the cards that I use to set my goals. You can try it out and see if it's a system that works for you. But either way, along the way, don't quit on your main goal, the thing that you're trying to accomplish in life. Don't quit on that. Change up your route on how to get there as often as you need to, and when it makes sense, when you follow your gut, and you learn. If you make the wrong decision, then learn from it, pick yourself up, and move on. It's okay. Anyways, I love setting goals. I love hearing from people on what they do. Please comment. Please follow me on Facebook and let me know what works for you. And if you think my advice stinks, and if you've got better things, please share. But no matter what, set goals, pursue them. Be in the 1% of people that write and review their goals on a regular daily basis. Be in that group by setting your goals every day and writing them down every day. And I promise you, in due time, you will see amazing results in your life.